The camera crew stood frozen in disbelief. The director rubbed his eyes, convinced what he just witnessed was impossible. Bruce Lee stood calmly in the center of the studio, his expression unchanged, as if he hadn't just defied the very laws of physics. "Play it back," someone whispered. "Nobody will believe this without the footage." What happened in those 3 seconds would shake the martial arts world to its core. A move so fast, so precise, that even trained fighters watching in slow motion would struggle to comprehend how one human body could generate such explosive power. Before we reveal what the camera captured, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss stories about legends who changed the world forever. This wasn't a movie stunt. This wasn't special effects. This was Bruce Lee proving that the human body, when trained to perfection, could achieve what others called impossible. The challenge that started it all. Hollywood, 1967. Bruce Lee had already made a name for himself teaching martial arts to celebrities and appearing on television shows. But the film industry saw him as just another Asian actor. Typecast, underestimated, and constantly told his fighting style was too fast for American audiences. The Green Hornet series had given him some recognition, but studio executives still doubted whether his martial arts were real or just theatrical performance. They'd grown up watching staged Western fight scenes, slow, predictable punches that actors could easily fake. Bruce was 27 years old, standing 5 feet 7 inches tall, and weighing just 135 pounds. To the Hollywood producers in their expensive suits, he didn't look like someone who could revolutionize action cinema. They wanted proof. Real, undeniable proof that his speed and power were genuine. The man behind the legend. Bruce Lee wasn't born a martial arts master. He started training in Wing Chun Kung Fu at age 13 in Hong Kong, studying under the legendary Ip Man. But Bruce was different from other students. He didn't just memorize forms and techniques. He questioned everything, tested everything, and constantly pushed the boundaries of what traditional martial arts could achieve. He moved to America at 18, worked as a dishwasher and dance instructor, and slowly built his reputation by teaching martial arts and winning street fights that proved his methods worked. By the mid-1960s, he developed his own fighting philosophy called Jeet Kune Do, the way of the intercepting fist. "I don't believe in styles anymore," Bruce often said. "I believe in the individual. A style should never be like a frozen form. It should be like water. Shapeless, formless, able to adapt to any situation." This philosophy made him controversial among traditional martial artists, who saw him as a rebel breaking sacred rules. But Bruce didn't care about tradition. He cared about truth, about what actually worked in real combat. The skepticism he faced daily. The martial arts community in America during the 1960s was dominated by karate and judo. Many instructors doubted that Chinese kung fu could match these established systems. Bruce faced constant challenges, not just in studios and demonstrations, but on the streets and in private dojos where fighters wanted to test whether this small Chinese man was truly as good as people claimed. One of his students, Hollywood screenwriter Sterling Silliphant, later recalled watching Bruce face down multiple attackers during a demonstration. They all rushed him at once. Within seconds, all of them were on the ground. It wasn't movie fighting. It was devastatingly real. But Hollywood executives wanted more than witness testimony. They'd heard countless stories about martial arts masters, but they'd never seen definitive proof captured on film. In that era, cameras couldn't film at high speeds, which meant fast movements appeared as blurred motion on screen. The technical challenge. Film technology in 1967 presented a unique problem. Standard cameras recorded at 24 frames per second, adequate for normal action, but completely inadequate for capturing Bruce Lee's strikes. When he punched or kicked at full speed, the camera simply couldn't register the individual movements. Directors who worked with Bruce faced a constant dilemma. His techniques were too fast to film clearly, which meant audiences would think the action was sped up or faked. Several fight choreographers suggested Bruce slow down his movements, but he refused. "Why should I slow down to match the camera's limitations?" Bruce argued during one heated production meeting. "Find a camera that can keep up with reality." This attitude didn't win him friends among studio executives who saw him as difficult and uncooperative. But Bruce understood something they didn't. Once audiences saw what real martial arts looked like, everything else would seem fake by comparison. The personal stakes. Behind Bruce's confidence was a deeper struggle. He'd left Hong Kong to escape gang violence and limited opportunities, promised himself he'd make something of his life in America. His father had been a famous Cantonese opera star, but Bruce wanted to forge his own path, to prove that a Chinese man could succeed in American entertainment on his own terms. His wife Linda supported him completely, but they struggled financially. Bruce taught private martial arts lessons to pay the bills, worked odd jobs, and faced constant racism in an industry that didn't believe Asian actors could be leading men. The industry told him over and over that Americans would never accept a Chinese hero, Linda later recalled in interviews. But Bruce believed that if he could show them what he was truly capable of, everything would change. The pressure was immense. Bruce trained 6 hours every day, constantly refining his techniques, studying anatomy and physics to understand exactly how his body generated power. He knew he had one chance to prove himself, one moment to show the world that everything they thought they knew about fighting was wrong. The moment everything changed. The demonstration was arranged at a professional martial arts studio in Los Angeles. The camera crew brought specialized equipment, a high-speed camera capable of filming at 120 frames per second, 5 times the normal rate. This was cutting-edge technology in 1967, rarely used outside of scientific research. Bruce stood before a heavy punching bag, the kind professional boxers use for power training. The bag weighed over 100 pounds, filled with dense material designed to absorb impact without moving significantly. "Show us your 1-inch punch," the director requested, referring to a technique Bruce had demonstrated before, generating knockout power from just 1 inch away from the target. Bruce positioned himself with his fist barely touching the heavy bag. No wind-up, no stepping back for momentum, just his body perfectly aligned, every muscle ready to transfer force in a single explosive instant. What happened next left everyone speechless. The impossible strike. Bruce's fist moved. The high-speed camera captured every microsecond as his entire body, from his feet through his hips, up his torso, through his shoulder and arm, unleashed power with perfect biomechanical precision. The 100-pound heavy bag didn't just swing back. It launched backward like it had been hit by a car, the chains holding it making metallic sounds of protest as they absorbed the shock. The bag traveled nearly 3 feet before the chains stopped it, swinging wildly for several seconds afterward. But the truly unbelievable part came when they reviewed the footage in slow motion. Bruce's fist traveled approximately 6 inches during the actual strike. The impact itself lasted just 1/20th of a second. The power generated wasn't from a long wind-up or running start. It came from something else entirely, something that traditional physics couldn't easily explain. "Play it again," the director kept saying, watching the footage over and over. Even in slow motion, Bruce's technique was almost too fast to follow. His body moved as a single coordinated unit, transferring force with an efficiency that seemed impossible. Professional boxers and martial artists who later analyzed the footage were stunned. Olympic athletes couldn't generate that much power from such a short distance. Yet here was undeniable proof. Bruce Lee had achieved something that conventional understanding said shouldn't be possible. The scientific explanation. Years later, biomechanics experts studied Bruce's techniques and discovered the secret. His 1-inch punch wasn't about muscle strength alone. It was about perfect timing, coordination, and understanding how the human body could become a perfectly timed kinetic chain. When Bruce struck, every muscle fired in precise sequence, starting from his feet gripping the ground, transferring force up through his legs, rotating his hips at the perfect instant, engaging his core, then channeling everything through his shoulder, arm, and fist. The timing windows were measured in milliseconds. One muscle firing too early or too late would break the chain and reduce power dramatically. Bruce had trained his nervous system to coordinate these movements with superhuman precision. It wasn't magic. It wasn't supernatural. It was the result of thousands of hours of deliberate practice, studying anatomy, testing techniques, and refusing to accept that human limitations were fixed. How one moment changed everything. That footage became legendary. Copies circulated among martial artists worldwide, studied frame by fighters trying to understand Bruce's technique. The demonstration didn't just prove his power was real. It transformed how people thought about martial arts, physics, and human potential. Hollywood's attitude toward Bruce changed overnight. Directors who dismissed him as just another martial arts instructor now understood they were dealing with someone truly extraordinary. Within a few years, Bruce would star in films that revolutionized action cinema. Enter the Dragon, Fist of Fury, The Way of the Dragon, movies that showcase techniques no one had seen before. But more importantly, Bruce proved a deeper truth that resonated far beyond martial arts. He showed that human beings could transcend supposed limitations through dedication, scientific understanding, and refusing to accept conventional wisdom. The universal life lesson. Bruce Lee died tragically young at age 32 in 1973, but his philosophy continues inspiring people across every field. His famous quote captures everything that moment represented. "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." The one-inch punch wasn't about showing off supernatural power. It was about demonstrating that excellence comes from deep understanding, relentless practice, and refusing to accept that impossible means anything more than nobody has figured out how yet. For anyone watching this story, whether you're 45, 55, or 65 years old, Bruce's lesson applies to every aspect of life. Maybe you've been told you're too old to start something new. Maybe people doubt your abilities because of how you look or where you come from. Maybe you face challenges that seem physically impossible to overcome. Bruce Lee stood 5'7" and weighed 135 pounds in a world that judged power by size. He was Chinese in an industry that didn't believe Asian men could be action heroes. He faced technical limitations, cameras that couldn't capture his speed, critics who claimed his techniques were fake. But instead of accepting these limitations, he worked harder, studied deeper, and trusted that excellence would eventually speak for itself. That moment when the camera finally captured his impossible strike wasn't luck. It was the inevitable result of someone who refused to settle for what others considered good enough. Your own unbelievable moment. The question Bruce Lee's story asks each of us is simple but profound. What would you attempt if you truly believed that dedication and understanding could overcome any limitation? If this story inspired you to push past your own limitations, hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss stories about people who refuse to accept impossible. Share this with someone who needs to hear that age, size, or circumstances don't determine what you can achieve. Only dedication and heart determine that. What impossible goal are you working toward right now? Share your story in the comments below. Your journey might inspire someone else to keep pushing when everyone says they should quit. The footage of Bruce Lee's one-inch punch still exists. You can find it online, watch it in slow motion, and see for yourself that some moments are so extraordinary, only the camera can prove they actually happened. But the real proof isn't in the footage. It's in the millions of people worldwide who've been inspired by Bruce's philosophy to attempt their own impossible moments, and succeeded.